So what I always look into is that like the two strategies, right? Like red ocean strategy and blue ocean strategy. Red ocean in the sense that there will be a lot of people in the same category building the same product. It's like, for example, in the toothpaste category, right? Like Colgate, Close-Up.
Hi, Jason. Welcome to my podcast, Decoding Branding with Divya Shah. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for the invite. How are you, Divya?
I'm doing great too. Thank you, Jason. So, my very first question to you, Jason, is that having worked as an agency owner and heading a team of, I think, around 50 plus people now, right? And worked across 31 industries, like 3 common traits that you would have observed that makes or breaks a business in this journey.
Got it. Number one, it's the chemistry between the founders, the background of the founders, right? Like whether you have good, it's always better to have co-founders rather than to have a solo founder, because entrepreneurship is always like very lonely. So you need to have a support system. So we have a very trusted co-founder who kind of like they should have different ideas, but they should be able to communicate with each other and solve it out and things like that, right? So that is one thing. Second thing is they should have a really different product with them, which anyone should be able to easily identify that, hey, this product is very different, right? And that product should come out of a problem that these founders should have faced earlier, and they have already solved it for themselves, and hence they are putting it out there for the world to solve their problems, right? And hence they should have a passion for that product, right? That is the second thing. Third thing is to have a really good business model which will give them profits, right? I believe that profits are what business, at the end of the day, you'll be hiring people, you'll be impacting the world, you'll be creating a lot of customers, everything, but at the end of the day, business needs profits. It's like if you are having a car, you need to have petrol to move the car, right? Yeah. Just like that, business needs money to run. So you should be having a really, really crisp business model also.
So while you're talking about, having that crisp business model and probably solving a pain point that you are facing and then putting it out in the form of product or service in the market, right? But now with so much of noise, let's pick a particular industry, say D2C industry, okay? With so many brands and businesses launching similar or even identical products. So how do they then differentiate themselves?
So what I always look into is that like the two strategies, right? Like red ocean strategy and blue ocean strategy. Red ocean in the sense that there will be a lot of people in the same category building the same product. It's like, for example, in the toothpaste category, right? Like Colgate, Close-Up, Pepsodent, everything is in the red ocean, and Sensodyne is in the blue ocean, right? So if you ask anyone with a sensitive tooth, which product they are going to buy, everyone is going to say that, hey, I'm going to buy Sensodyne.
Yeah.
Colgate, everything, the market leaders are not even in their mind, because Sensodyne has created their own safe blue ocean without any competitors. Others are other brands are fighting each other and creating a bloody ocean out there called red ocean, right? So I'd always ask founders, say, hey, are you in which part of the ocean are you, right? So it's always like you don't have to innovate in terms of like the product itself. Sometimes it's about the messaging, branding that keeps you apart, right? So there was this interesting another case, right, in which the product was not different. So it's called Indulega. It was in hair oil, right? It was originated from Kerala itself. So there are huge number of hair oil brands, right? So how they differentiated is that they put up a comb of stuff at the end of that bottle. So it became the thing, right? So it became a blue ocean kind of stuff. Indulega was a category, all other hair oils was another category, right? So maybe it could be just the design of the bottle, right?
Yeah, so it depends on how that same product can be sold in a different way or modified or tweaked a little to put you from the red ocean category to a blue ocean category and make you stand out and have your own niche. So That's a great example right out there. The way you have explained about Indulekha and the way they modified their product with a little tweak. Just the cap has been tweaked, and they have just moved into a blue ocean category. So talking about, you also mentioned previously, about profits and something that's like a fuel for a business to continue thriving. But a lot of founders, so to get the profits, they keep on running ads, or they keep on investing heavily and burning their money into paid marketing.
Yeah.
So then what is your take on, striking that balance between organic marketing and paid marketing?
The thing is that you actually need to have a balance. You cannot say no to any one of them. Right. So the problem is that 5 years ago, when Facebook peaked, like the ads kind of stuff, right? When they cracked it with AI, it was a aha moment for marketers, right? And basically, you can just take some products, maybe take some products from China, do some drop shipping, any kind of the focus out of the product was gone. You just need to have some sort of product, and you need to create a Shopify. You can do it in 1 or 2 days. Basically, you source a product, you put it on Shopify, you run ads on Facebook. You'll get 3 to 4 ROIs, which could be profitable for them. So everybody started doing that, right? Nobody was interested in burning money on building a brand, getting to know the customer, sending a message to the customers. Nothing, right? You was 100% of the marketing budget was being spent on Facebook ads. But over the time period, as always, marketers destroy everything, right? It became too noisy. People started understanding that these are paid ads. People started the CTRs, the click-through rates went down, the CPC went up, and also due to the privacy issues, the tracking, and the iPhone kind of started stopping giving data to Facebook. Things like that happened. So the ROI is plummeted, right? Starting from, I think, 2021 second half. So right now, if you try to do the same thing, you'll get ROIs of 1 or 2 maximum, which could not be even profitable. So right now, Facebook ads should be used to gain customers, hoping that the product is good enough. They'll come back and buy the product, right? So hence, you need to have a brand. You need to start investing in brand. The entire circle has come back to the starting point. You need to build a brand, so that even if your ads are not running, people will remember you, and people will recommend you to their friends. Even if you don't spend a huge amount of money on Facebook ads, if you have a good following on Instagram, right, 50,000 and 1K, 1 lakh followers. If you have a new product, if you put up story saying that we are launching a new product, you should get 100 or 200 orders at least.
And so I was reading this book yesterday, Start With Why, by Sir Simon Sinek, right? And the very first chapter, even before it starts, so there's this initial part of the book, right? And where he mentioned a couple of examples of why Apple was successful. And surprisingly, I didn't know that while the Wright brothers were the one who took the plane, who were the first to invent the whole airplane thing, but there was actually someone else as well from the US Senate trying to do the same thing, but he could not, despite having all the resources, because the Wright brothers, despite not having resources, had a lot of motivation, and the local people were, and they could inspire them. Yes. That inspiration helped them build that and take that first flight. And in amongst all of this, I also read that was a very impactful line that I read by him. And I was like, if you don't know your customers, who is buying your products, then you don't know who are your employees. And if you don't know your customers and your employees, you are bound to die one day. And that was such a powerful line, I felt. And, in relation to what you're saying, that businesses today need to have an understanding of their customers. So this just took me a little bit back there, and I was like, oh wow, okay, this is just making a lot of sense for me now.
I too read the same book, I think 3 to 4 years ago. It made a lot of sense, right? That has inspired me, right? Whenever I'm looking at a new business, if they have a purpose or a why, they'll have that stamina to go on, even if there are obstacles.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm recently, working on one D2C client, and something that I'm just struggling the most with this particular client is, while he started in the pandemic, I don't see a very clear. I mean, at that point in time, the purpose was very clear to help people get away from the screen and etc. But now that purpose has to evolve, or the messaging has to get stronger. And that's why I picked this book, Start With Why, to find some inspiration. And from there, and I've been coming across a lot of founders as well who are like, okay, yeah, this is our product, and these are precisely manufacturers, and they go all like, okay, this is our product, help us run ads and gain money and become a brand. And I'm like, that's not how this works. So have you encountered, such businesses who come and just tell you, okay, this is my product and help me make a brand?
Definitely, like every month on an average we get about 55-60 businesses coming to us wanting to partner with us, right? And we only taking like 2 to 3 maximum. That's the bandwidth that we have. We have a strong filtering process, and one of the filters is that like whether the product is like unique enough, right? So just like that, I've like on a monthly basis we get a lot of D2C owners coming with hair oil products, skincare products, supplements, everything, etc., right? Which has basically, it is made by a contract manufacturer. So there is this concept of contract manufacturer in which a company is there who is making products. And if I want to start a brand, I can contact them and ask for their product catalog, and they'll show that they have these hair oils, supplements, etc. I can just say that, hey, I need a hair oil. I need 1,000 bottles of hair oil. They'll create the bottle, they'll do the branding and give it to me, right? I can store it in my warehouse. I can start a Shopify, or I can even distribute it to my retail shops, etc. Right? So that's how people usually think, and ends up getting the same product with just different logos, right? So right now it's impossible to sell those things without a good story, right? Without having the founder having a good background story, or at least having otherwise you need to have a huge amount of investment, right? To take it, like maybe do a huge branding campaign with a great brand ambassador to make it lifestyle, like aspirable or kind of stuff, right? So it happens all the time. It happens, but yeah.
So now that you've touched upon the whole, brand story factor that will help probably sell your commodity as a brand, so what other factors apart from, say, story, in your opinion, matters that a business owner should precisely consider if they want to stand out, but their product falls in the red ocean category?
Yeah, so there are a lot of technical stuff that you can look, right? When you launch a product and you wait for like 6 to 8 months time, you need to look at the repeat orders, right? Like you can sell once, that's easy to sell once, but you won't be profitable. Mostly selling online once won't be profitable. You need to at least, basically it's about making the lifetime value greater than the cost of acquisition, right? Cost of acquisition, for example, if you have a product worth 800 rupees and you run Facebook ads and you get a sale after spending 400 rupees, right? So 400 rupees is the CAC, but your profit margin would be just 30%, right? So you sold that product on a loss, right? Now, but you have a customer, you have the email ID, you have the phone number, everything, and you also have sold that product to that customer. And maybe after the fourth month, that bottle maybe finish up or end up, and the customer should come back to your website and reorder it. And now the CAC is 0. You didn't spend anything to get that customer, right? And you have been profitable also, because right now your lifetime value is 800 plus 800, 1,600, but you only spend 400 to get 1,600, right? So repeat orders is what right now kills or makes a D2C brand, right? So you need to build a brand to get that repeat order. Maybe it's the packaging, like the touch and feel of the packaging. Maybe it's the communication, every touch point that you have with the customer, right? It could be an email, like after ordering the product, how will you have written the email, how will you have written the WhatsApp message, and how will you are putting your social media reels, tweets, pictures, etc. How well the brand, founder is actually putting content on LinkedIn. How well are influencers pushing the product, right? It's a right now it's not funneling. It's about the
building that ecosystem.
Flywheel kind of stuff. That is, you just do a lot of things. It automatically gives you the momentum and it comes back to you, right? So optimize all sort of touch points so that people always have a good feeling about your brand, and they trust you too, so that they come back to you and order more, or they refer you to other people.
Fair enough. So from what I'm understanding here, Jaison, is that you need to, once the customer is in the door, in the shop, and they've bought the product for once, after that your entire ecosystem comes into play, which would be, say, your email marketing, your social media, but above all of this, your product quality and the experience that it offers, right? So even if you have this whole of ecosystem in place, but if your product is really bad, you'll not have the retention.
Yes, at least you need to have a mediocre product, right? You can do it with a mediocre or an average product. If you have a good brand, you can sell an average product, not a problem, because it should at least give that feeling, right? Yeah, it kind of works. So I'll just order it again. If it's a bad product, you have no.
Have you come across any? I mean, you don't really have to name the brands, but have you come across any such products that are average, but because their story was so strong that they have been making it in the market?
Yeah, so I order a lot of products from a particular men's wellness website. I don't want to name them, but I love their Instagram activities, their everything, right? If you look at their website, it's also really nice. They're just focusing on men's wellness. They have a lot of products like hair oil, sunscreen, beard oil, all anything that a man, and it is particularly made for men, right? I've been a customer for the last 3 to 4 years. I'll just rub for any products. I'll just go to that website and buy it. But the product is just average, I believe. But still, I'm not sure why. But it gives me a feeling that they are focused more on all the research that they do is specific for men. So I don't know, but I don't go to Amazon or any other website. I prefer this website because I feel that they are having some sort of focus. So I'll just buy from them. But the product, I never felt that the product is like superior to anything. But it keeps on happening.
So is it like they're subconsciously for you solving a pain point? Their product might not be like above industry average, but it's good enough for you, for them. The product is good enough that it is solving your pain point. And the reason you go to their website is because it's an aggregator place, though it's a company in itself. And I think I pretty much understood which brand you're talking about. But because you get all your needs, your wellness needs being met there, you're like, okay, let me just go to this place and stick to this place, because I don't really have to then make a lot of decision. Okay, this brand, that brand, or this product or that product, because it has just become out of your routine.
Absolutely. Yeah, the one line that I can say is that it's like going to a specialist instead of going to a general
jack of all trades. Yeah,
so that's the difference that I'm getting.
I'm having this urge to just spell out their name, because it's honestly one of my favorite brands, though I don't use their products, but because their messaging is on point, and the way they came up with the name, how much that synchronizes with what the products they sell. Like everything is just so on point. And I use them as an example even for my prospect call. So that's nothing but man matters is what I'm assuming, right? Yes. So yes. See, this is a strong recall value that they have. Okay, the moment he said man wellness, the moment he said man wellness, I was like, yeah, he's talking about man matters. I know it for a fact.
That's what you call brand, right?
Yeah, that's like branding on spot, So with all of these conversations happening around, and I think this can just like go on and on and on, I want to probably ask you one last question before we move on to something very interesting, which would be a rapid fire round, by the way. So, would you suggest to be a niche specific brand, or would you prefer to have a niche specific product?
I would always go for a niche specific brand, because if you go for a niche specific product, you are limited to that product. And when you are limited to that product, you have a lot of problems, right? Sometimes if that product gets a heavy competition coming into your, like some other competitor could just make a replica of that product and come to your space, right? And maybe give a 100 rupees discount, then you're like doomed, right? But if you have a niche specific brand, you can always like utilize that winning product to come to get people's trust, and you can use that trust to sell, bundles or other products, just like how Man Matters does, right? So in the long run, it's safe to have I think, in my personal view, it's safe to have a niche specific brand, right? And also it gives you a feeling that, hey, these guys are like, experts of this thing. You don't need to like do a lot of research, because these guys are just focusing on this niche, so they know better than me.
Yeah. It helps you build that credibility and authority in the minds of your consumers, just the way Man Matters has does. They're one of these brands that I so love. Though I don't use their product, I'm not even the target audience. But when I wear the hat of a brand strategist or a marketer, I'm like, if you want to learn branding and marketing and how to amalgamate it, Man Matters is one of these D2C brands that you should for sure look at. Because I don't know their founder's name, honestly, but the way they have just been with their messaging and their story and everything is just fabulous, in my opinion. Again, I'm not endorsing this brand, nor are they paying me for to talk so much about them.
If you want to have a perfect product page, you need to look at how Man Matters has created their product page. It has all the checklists, or like I've felt that they are on top of the game in terms of Indian D2C space, in terms of creating the perfect product page. That's what I always show to all the D2C owners. Like, this is how you need to have the product page.
I haven't really checked the product page, but I'm going to go and do it right after this call for sure and get some inspiration. So with that, let's move on to the rapid fire round. I'll be naming some of the brands, and you have to be like quite prompt in rating them from 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. In terms, and this is on a level of aggregated campaigns that they've been running so far.
Yeah, but disclaimer is that like I don't want to be like come out as a guy who just blames other people's works, but I'll try to like.
No. This is a very common thing. So Prathamesh Temla from he's a ex-growth marketer at Licious. I did the same thing with him, and we had a lot of fun. So he was like rating it quite impromptu. But it was for him on the performance marketing side. For you, I'm putting it on a larger angle, that's on the campaigns as an ecosystem, comms ecosystem. Okay. Yeah. First is Zomato.
Oh, 4.5 or 5. Yeah.
IKEA.
4.5.
Okay. Uber.
3.5. Yeah. Maybe.
Okay. Apple.
5.
Any of their favorite campaigns that you like?
Oh, everything. I'm a fanboy. Like, I only use Apple products. I'm known for that. So 1983 ad, starting from 1983 ad, all thing different ad, coming to the COVID, and during COVID they had this work from home ad. And recently I've seen like the animated ad that they're running on IPL. Everything is crazy. I cannot blame. Like, I cannot actually take any points from them, right? I'm no one.
Nike.
It would be like plainly stupid to take any points from the 5.
Okay. Boat.
Yeah, boat. I'd say maybe sometimes 3.
Or would you say a little less?
They are doing it right for their target audience. So for me, I also use board products, but they have this particular target audience that they want to cater to, right? They're doing it good, but not for the entire market. Yeah.
So you feel that their messaging and all is on point for their TG?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank
Okay. And the last one, lens card.
I all these products I've been using Lenskart for the last 6-7 years, 8 years maybe. So I love what they have created. They've solved a huge problem for me. So, but I cannot blame them, right? Maybe for
Okay, which is one of your favorite lens card campaigns?
no, I don't know. Like one thing that they've done is that they've created in the a specific function in their app in which we can just
virtually see which frame looks good on us. So you are rating them on basis of the product experience.
Yeah, for me, branding is like each and
Okay.
every touch point. Yeah.
But if I had to ask you to rate one of their campaigns that they have, so they had run recently a campaign with Karan Johar glasses, so how much would you rate that campaign?
Recently I think day before yesterday I went to Lenskart to do some sort of stuff, and I saw Karan Johar there, and I suddenly said that, oh, they are really good. Like Karan Johar is known for his in this glasses, right? So I was thinking like, hey, so they basically picked him, made him to ambassador, so it was matching for me, like so I that was cool.
Okay, great. I personally didn't like it, but okay.
Yeah, for
I
me
was like, you can have someone on my side.
Yeah.
Well, that was the end of this podcast. And thank you so much, Jaison, for coming here, sharing your insights. I've learned something very new. That's the red ocean versus blue ocean strategy. So for me, that was always about being a commodity versus a brand. But now I have a more structure to that whole example that I used to give. So thank you so much. That was like one of my biggest learnings from this conversation that we had, and also about thank you for validating the fact, and probably to everyone listening here, that okay, you can be running ads, but you need to have a strong story to sell if you want to thrive in the market. I think these are some of these takeaways that I personally have from this podcast. Any last thing that you would like to add here?
Last thing is that it's about experimenting. It's about slow growth. For me, you cannot expect overnight success. If you're a marketer, you need to be consistent. For me, for example, personally, I've been writing content on LinkedIn for the last 3 years every day, right? So that's how I've been getting like 60% of our leads from converted leads, right? So it's not about saying that, hey, I put out this strategy today, I experimented it for 1 week, it's not getting the result, it's not like transforming my business. It's about focusing on the process rather than the result. Put in effort for the process, results will come, right?
So, but at the same time, keep a check on the process if it's working, if you're headed in the right direction or not. I think that's equally.
In love with the process, you need to pivot sometimes.
Thank you, Jaison. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Divya. It's been a long time since I've been in a podcast. So thank you so much for inviting me. I had a great time.
Thank you, Jaison. Well, that was a powerful, insightful, and a value-packed conversation with Jaison Thomas. I hope you feel the same after listening to this fun and engaging conversation with Jaison, and had your own fair share of learnings to grow your business. Do not forget to share this episode with your friends who are planning to start their business or are running their business, and help them grow as well. And by the way, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, click on the bell icon to stay tuned for the upcoming episodes. And I'll see you soon. This is Divya Shah. Cheers. Signing off.